Okay, so today's plan is to move on to rather than constantly giving you guys lists of information, there might be a better way of giving you that information, particularly if we're going to have recurring information. So let's say if we had 2 6s, it might be a better way than writing out 6 and then 6 again. We could just say there's 2 6s. But before that, I just want to run over what we did last, what you did yesterday, or on Wednesday rather, and that was finding the mean, the mode, median, and the interquartile range and the range. So I gave you some exercises, and this was one of the exercises you had to do, is find the 3 ends on this, the mean, the mode, and the median, or averages. And you also then had to work out the interquartile range and the range. Okay. So let's do the easy stuff first of all, I suppose. Let's do the mode. And is there a mode here in this question? Does a mode exist? No. So there's no mode for this question here. Okay. So there's no mode. So that does not mean the mode is equal to 0. Okay. There is no mode. So there is no mode in this question. And that's not really a big deal, because really the mode is really used for categorical data. Here we have numerical data, so it's not really the best average to take when we have numerical data. So let's take a look at the next kind of handiest one. It doesn't involve any calculations really. Well, maybe it might, we'll see in a second. And that's going to be the median. Let's take a look and see if we can find the median of this. So my first job is to check, is this list in order? So I have the smallest here, next smallest, yep, all the way up. So they're getting bigger and bigger each time as I go up the list. So I have my lower ones down here and my upper ones up there. Great. So I can now go ticking, and this will lead me to my median. So I'm going to take this guy off with this guy. I'm going to take this guy off with this guy. I'm going to take this guy off with this guy. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to take this guy off with this guy. Oh, and if I go one more step, I have nothing left, so I leave it there. So that guy there is the median. Okay. So that guy there is the median, 314. He's the median. And we kind of had another symbol that we had for median the last day. We called it Q what? It's sort of where the second quarter ends. So we'd call that Q2. Okay, so that's the mode and the median delta. Let's take a look at the mean. This guy here, mean. So what's mean again? Well, mean is the primary school average. So that's the average you would have come across when you're in primary school. Let's take a look at the mean for this data set here. So it's going to be 673 plus 428 plus 320 plus 316 plus 314 plus 300. Addition. Is addition commutative? Is addition commutative? Am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to write them over there? So addition is commutative, okay? So A plus B is the same as B plus A. So I'm allowed to kind of write these in any order at all, because I'm just adding them up. So obviously I probably should have put 673 there rather than in the middle, but I ran out of space. I was a bit ambitious. So I've added them all up on top. What do I then have to do? I have to add them all up and then, add them all up divided by how many I have. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I have 9 of them. So I add all those up, and that's definitely a calculator job. So 193 plus 195 plus 270 plus 673 plus 428 plus 320 plus 316 plus 314 plus 300 equals 3009. Check my answers, do not believe me. And that's equal to 334.33. And that seems about right. It looks like a number that's kind of in this area in here somewhere, okay? It's probably going to be closer to 673, because 673 is pulling that mean towards it. 673, it's kind of a big number relative to all the other numbers, so it's probably not quite an outlier, but it's tending towards being an outlier. So it's definitely pulling the mean away from it. It's definitely pulling the mean away from the median. So this guy here is the mean. So that's the mean, the mode, and the median dealt with. Next job I want to work out, well, is this a good representation of the mean? So let's take a look at range next. And range is the distance. So it's the distance from the smallest one all the way up to the biggest one. The way I like to think about that is, let's say a shooting range. I've never been to a shooting range, obviously living in Ireland, but you can, well, maybe not obviously living in Ireland, maybe there are, I don't know, but it wouldn't be a kind of something that's prevalent. It seems to be more something that happens on American TV shows. So you seem to have a starting position, and the range seems to be the distance to the end of the shooting range, okay? Maybe a driving range for golf might be a better analogy. So it's a distance. So you're starting from somewhere, and you have to go a distance to your end point. That's a range. So the range in this case is going to be 673. Take away 193, and that's going to equal, oh, I'm a bit lazy this evening, let's put it into a calculator. 673 take away 193 equals 480. So the range of that data set over there is 480. You might hear me calling these things here data sets. Yeah, so I think that's what people generally call them, is data sets. There's a small little problem with the word set, that in maths a set, so for example this thing here, okay, both of those two sets are the same thing. Okay, yeah, both of those sets are the same thing. So this isn't really when I say data set, I don't mean the kind of the mathsy sort of set, okay? Because sets tend to ignore repetition. Okay, we obviously cannot ignore repetition because we might want to calculate the mode. So that's range. Now let's take a look at the last one, which was the interquartile range. And we described interquartile range as being the range of the middle half. So I need to know where exactly is the middle half. So it looks like it's somewhere around here. Yeah, it's that kind of the middle half. But where exactly does it start? Where exactly does it end? So that's what we're going to look for now. When I calculate the median, I'm breaking my data set into two distinct halves. I have a lower half and I have an upper half. Yeah? So there's the lower half down here and there's the upper half up there. Lower half, upper half. Now, the middle half begins at the quarter way mark. So at the end of the first quarter. Okay, so if there's half of the data down there and I half that again, well, that'll give me where the quarter mark is. So if I half a half, I get to a quarter. That makes sense. And to find the halfway mark, I used this ticking process. So I'm going to use the same ticking process. I'll use blue. I'm going to use the same ticking process on the bottom half to find out where the quarter is. So I'll tick off the biggest in the half with the smallest in the half. I'll tick off the next biggest. Oh, if I go ticking again, I'll kill them both off. That's no good to me. So I'm not going to go ticking anymore. I'm looking for the number that's going to be halfway between 270 and 195. So how do I find the number that's halfway between 270 and 195 again? The number that's halfway between those two. Well, that's the middle of those two. So I add them together and divide it by 2. I find kind of like the mean of those two numbers. Another calculator job. And 270 plus 195 equals divided by 2, which is equal to SD, which is 232.5, and that's Q1. So that's where the first quarter ends, and it's in here, lads. So that's where it is. Okay. And that value there is 232.5. Now, I could be quite smart here and I could spot that, well, 2 is there, there's 2 in there, so if I take 2 up here, that's going to give me the top quartile. So I'm going to draw a line at 2 here. I could have gone ticking. I could have ticked this one off with this one, and this one off with this one. I couldn't tick those 2 off because I'll eliminate everything, so I add them together and divide by 2. So let's do that. I'm going to get rid of my mean calculation. You guys are supposed to remind me to draw a line down my board, remember that? 428 plus 320. So it's 428 plus 230 all over 2, which is equal to 374. And that's Q3. So the interquartile range, let's call it IQR, is equal to 374 minus 232.5, and that's equal to 141.5. So the interquartile range is 141.5. So that was the first question that was the second question you had for homework last night. I won't do all 4 just to keep things on time for myself here. So the mean, this thing here, we added them together, divided by how many there were. The median, we went ticking, found the middle one. The range, we took the smallest from the biggest. The interquartile range, we found out where the quarter-way mark was. We found out where the 3/4-way mark was, and we took the quarter one from the 3/4 one. Okay. So, we are now asked to find the mean, the mode, and median, the range and interquartile range of this data set over here. Let's take a look at mode again first of all. Is there a mode? Don't think so. There's 125. Yeah, there's 183. Yeah. So there's only one of each of them from what I can see there. So there is no mode. So there is no one that's more common than any of the others. The next thing we're going to take a look at then will be, let's go for mean, okay? So to calculate the mean, I add them up and I divide by how many there are, okay? Let's try and fit it in this time. So I'll write a bit smaller. So it's 52 plus 70 plus 93 plus 101 plus 74 plus 72 plus 86 plus 147 plus 83 plus 25, and I have to divide all that by how many there are. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, there's 10 of them. So divided by 10. So the mean is going to be, mean will equal 52 plus 70 plus 93 plus 101 plus 74 plus 72 plus 86 plus 147 plus 83 plus 25 is equal to 803. 803 all over 10, and that's equal to 80.3. So just check my arithmetic, guys. Do not believe a word I ever say. But that's definitely how we calculate the mean, okay? The method is good. Okay, so that's mean dealt with, that's mode dealt with. Next job is median. So how do we calculate the median of this data set? It's going to be a little bit more trickier than the last median we had for two reasons, but there's one main reason. Okay, if I went ticking on this list here, I'd end up somewhere about here. Yeah, and then add these two together and divide it by 2, so my median would be 73. If I just went ticking on this, my median, sorry, would be 73. It's obviously a little bit more difficult than that, because I could put these numbers the other way around. Would I get a different answer? Probably not. But what about if I put these three up there or something? Would I get a different answer? I would definitely get a different answer then. Or if I put these two down here or something, would I get a different answer then? I would, yeah. So the median, our ticking system only works when the list is in order. Right? So the list has to be in order for us to go ticking, because it's the middle of a list that's in order. If the list wasn't in order, well then the middle would be changing constantly as the order of the list changed. So to kind of nail down what exactly we're talking about, the list must be in order, or the data set must be in order. Okay, so that's a very hard job to order these, okay? Indeed, I would say huge amounts of money are spent every year on how to order lists for computer scientists, but we will stick with very small lists. They're obviously dealing with huge big lists, the size of like a Google search engine or something. But let's try and order this list here. So the smallest number I have is 25. So I can eliminate him. What's the next smallest? 52. The next smallest one I see is 70. Yeah. I see 72. This is a very hard thing to do. 83. So do not rush it. 86, as I'm tending to do now. 93. 101. And then 147. Okay, so that's our list now in order, and I'm now allowed to go ticking. So I can tick the biggest off with the smallest, next biggest, the next smallest, next biggest, the next smallest, next biggest with the next smallest. If I tick again, I'll kill them both off, no good to me. So I'm going to have to add these two together and divide by 1. So the median is in here. That's where the median is. So it's equal to 83 all over 74, sorry. 83 plus 74 all over 2, which is equal to 157 divided by 2, that's 78 or something, is it? Oh, that's 78. 83 plus 74 is equal to, divided by 2 is equal to 78.5. Okay, so the median is 78.5. Yeah, and that's the system that we've been using all along. Yeah, just make sure your list is in order before you go ticking. Next job is to find the range. And what's the range again? Well, the range is the biggest minus the smallest. So we're going to take 25 from 147. So we go 147. 42, 122. So the range is 122. So that means that if I gave you the mean of 80.3, okay, that means roughly, if everything is good, roughly, your data will all be within, let's say, 60, 61 of this. Yeah, and it kind of works out. That will not always work out if there's a big outlier, but in this case it does work out because there is no real outlier there. They're kind of all nice progressions. There's a kind of nice progression there. Okay. So to find out kind of where the data will lie between minus half of the range. Sorry, the mean minus half the range and the mean plus half the range. If everything is good and the mean is the right statistic to have taken. Next job is the interquartile range. This is the tricky one. So what colour am I going to use? I'm going to use yellow, is it? Yeah, probably use yellow. So I'm going to maybe, instead of ticking, because there's a lot of ticks up there at the moment, I'm going to do circles or something, okay? So there's the bottom half. If I half that using the same ticking system, I'll get to the middle of that, which will be the quartile. So let's cross that guy off with that guy off with that guy. Oh, and we're left with one in the middle. So that guy there is Q1. Okay, the lower quartile. And we know, let's do the ticking system. So we tick this guy off with this guy off with this guy, we're left with one in the middle. So that guy there is Q3, the upper quartile. So therefore, the interquartile range, the IQR, is equal to 93 minus 70, which is equal to 23. So the interquartile range is 23. So I think that should get you through what we did yesterday. So we're now going to move on to frequency tables. So I'll clear the board again and I'll come back to you. The first part of the new stuff today will be making data look a bit more neater, being able to convey data in a sensible manner, rather than having to give people big long lists of data like this, okay? Because we can see that there's an awful lot of repeats over here. Let's say this was these are the ages of a football team, okay? So these are the ages of some under 18 football team, and the manager asked him, what's your age, what's your age, what's your age, what's your age, and so on. And the first guy, he gives the age 17, and his pal is also a 17-year-old, and then they go down, whatever, forget about pals, okay? But this is the information that came out, okay? There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there's 5 17-year-olds in the team, there's 3 16-year-olds, there's 2 15-year-olds, and there's 5 14-year-olds. So I can represent that data in some sort of a table, okay? So I can call the top one age. So they can be 17, they can be 16, they can be 15, they can be 14, and they can be 13. Let's say they could be 13. Why not? Let's be adventurous. And how many 17-year-olds do we have? I'm going to put a 5 in there. How many 16-year-olds do we have? 3. How many 15-year-olds do we have? 2. 14-year-olds? 5. How many 13-year-olds do we have? Yeah, 0. Perfectly good number. Nothing wrong with that as a number. And that's pretty much it. If you get that, you get the topic. There's one word that kind of caused a little bit of confusion, and that word describes this thing here. How many? So I could put in the word how many, or in the words how many. Okay? But we like to make life a little bit more awkward. So we could put in the word count. So then there's the 17s count 5, we can count 5 17s. Still, that's not awkward enough. The word we're going to use is called frequency. And what that is getting at, that the 17 occurs 5 times. The 16 occurs 3 times, the 15 occurs twice, the 14 occurs 5 times, and the 13 occurs 0 times. So it's to do with kind of how many times this thing occurs. So frequency. So that's it really. That's grouped frequency tables. Sorry, that's frequency tables. I don't think that we need to talk any more about it really. If I count all these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, I knew it was going to be 15 because it's a football team, and yeah, and we know there's one type of football, right? So there's 15 of them there. And if I add all these up, 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5, how many should I get? Yeah, because I'm counting, it's the same thing as counting, right? So if I add all the 5 and the 3 and the 2 and the 5 up, if I add all my frequencies up, I should get the same amount as if I count all these up. Yeah, that's it really. That's frequency tables. Now then, because this thing represents this thing, and we have this type of thing here, we can work out these 3 things. We can work out the averages. Yeah. If I gave you information in this format, I could then ask you to work out the mean, the mode, and median. So that's kind of where we're going. That's where we're taking a look at these things here. They're very, very simple to kind of get your head around what's going on inside them, but we have to remember that we have to understand what's going on, because we need to be able to find the mean, the mode, and the median. So, to teach this, I'm going to imagine that one of my football players got fed up with the manager and decided to go home from training. This guy here, this 14-year-old, he left, okay? So the manager is down now to 14 players, and he's down to 4 14-year-olds. Right, so now you can't obviously do that in an example or in an exercise. I'm just doing that because I need to teach something in a second. Okay, so you can't just say I'm going to make the maths a bit easier for myself. That doesn't work. Okay, but let's just say that's the questionnaire that's given to you, and you're asked to find the mode. Well, that's a technical maths word, mode. So what does mode mean? Yeah, so mode means the most common. How many times did 13 occur? So 13 occurred 0 times. So 13 occurred 0 times, so 13 cannot be the mode. Can 14 be the mode? How many times does 14 occur? It only occurs 4 times. That's not the mode either, because this guy over here, look, this 17-year-olds, they occurred 5 times, so 17 occurred 5 times, and that's the most common one here. So that must be the mode, and the mode is 17. Now, I noticed this last year when I was teaching this topic, a lot of my students, they did all the good work, they found out that's the biggest one of the frequencies, and then they wrote down 5 here. Okay? The mode is the one that occurs the most. It's not the amount of times it occurs the most, it's the actual one that occurs most, and 17 is the one that occurs the most. So don't fall into that trap of thinking that 5 is the mode. Okay? 17 is the mode. 17 is the one that occurs the most. Now, which to do next? They get a little bit complicated after that, okay? Let's do mean next. Mean is probably the nicest one to do next. Median is a little bit funny, okay? Let's take a look at mean next. Now, what you're about to see works a lot better if I had a class in front of me, okay? Because I'm not very bright, and if I'm asked to find the mean of this, well, I know that I'm going to have to add them all up. So I'm going to have that 17 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17. Do you know how much chalk is? Yeah, I was surprised. So when I'm in school buys my markers. I'm at home, so I'm buying my own chalk. Chalk is very, very expensive, and I really don't like writing out 16 plus 16. This is a shocking waste of chalk. Can you guys think of a better way? Should that be 16 also? Yeah. Can you guys think of a better way of doing this? So I've written out 17 how many times? Oh, God. Even my arm is getting sore writing all this stuff out. Plus 14, plus 14, plus 14, plus 14. Now, how many of them are there? Well, there's 5 there, and there's 3 there, and there's 2 there, so it's 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4. Is there a better way, rather than wasting all that really expensive chalk, is there a better way of adding all of these up? Do I have to write down 5 17s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many 16s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3. How many 15s are there? 2. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? 5 17s. Sure, that's multiplication, right? So that's a crazy thing to write out. Absolutely crazy to write that out. What I should have written out is this. It's smaller, maybe not. Anyway, let's see. 17 times 5 plus 16 times 3 plus 15 times 2 plus 14 times 4. Okay, and that's exactly the same thing as adding 17 together 5 times. That's exactly the same thing as adding 16 together 3 times, and 15 together twice, and 14 together for 4 14s, yeah? So I can put that into my calculator as it is now, so let's do that. If any of you do physics or maybe chemistry, you're probably shouting at the computer saying, well, sir, the calculator will do all this for you. I know the calculator will do all this for you, but I want you to be able to do it without using a calculator, because they might ask a question in a roundabout way that would require you to know all this stuff. So 15 times 2 plus, start bracket, 14 times 4 all over 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4. I think I made a mistake in there. 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4. And that's equal to 15.6. So the mean of this data set is 15.6. Yeah, that seems about right. Somewhere in there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'll take that. I think, was it recurring? Oh, I deleted it. I'm not sure if it's recurring or not. Let's just leave that 15.6. Next job. The mode, the mean. What's going to come next? Yeah, the median. Now, the median. I'm going to clear all this because I need to be able to talk to you guys about this. Okay. To calculate the median of this thing, I'm going to go back to where it came from. So I'm going to go back to this thing here. And I'm going to number each of my data entries. So I'm going to label this guy down here. He's number 1. He's number 2. He's number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So I've numbered my entire data set. So that's pretty good. Now, at which of these numbers does the median occur? Well, the median is the halfway one. So the median occurs halfway between 1 and 14. So halfway between the first term and the 14th term. Sorry, halfway between the first term and the 14th term. So how do we find what number is halfway between 1 and 14? How do you find the middle of any two numbers again? What do you do? So the number that's halfway between 1 and 14 is not 7. It's actually 7.5. Okay? We can demonstrate that in a second. What I really want to get you to figure out is, or to understand is, that to find the halfway mark between 1 and 14, we add 1 and 14 together and divide it by 2. We've been doing that for about a week now. To find the middle of two numbers, we add them together, divided by 2. So if I number all my data, yeah, I'll add 1 onto 14 and divide it by 2. Now, what people tend to extrapolate from this is, okay, there's kind of almost a formula for where the median exists. Number of entries plus 1 all over 2. So the median exists at number of entries plus 1 divided by 2. So number of entries plus 1 divided by 2. So I don't expect you to label them all out. I don't expect you to to list them all out, and then label them all a number for every single data, or for every single frequency that you're given in the future. That would be crazy. But I do want you to have some understanding of where this 1 comes from. Okay? It's a lot of people don't get where that 1 comes from. Okay, it comes from this business over here. We're taking the middle of 1 and 14. Now, so let's go. So that's the formula you're going to use to find out where the median is. So the median occurs at 7.5. So the 7.5 term will be the median. So we want to know in which one of these is the median. Is it in this column, or this column, or this column, or this column, or this column? Right. And we have to kind of think about this. So if I start here and I go to there, I've only covered 5 terms. Have I passed the median at this stage? No. So the median is definitely not in this column. The median is not in that column. What about if I start here and I go all the way over to the end of this column? How many terms will I have passed? Well, I've passed 5 up there and 3 in there. I'll have passed the 5 17s and the 3 16s. So I'm now at 8. So I've passed 8 terms. Have I passed the median? Yeah, I have. Because the median is at 7.5. So I've gone forward 8. So I've passed the 7.5. So that tells me that the median must be in here. Right? So the median has to be in this column. So the median is 16. So the median is 16. We know it's at 7.5, but it's actually, its value is 16. Let's go back over here and do the ticking system to convince ourselves. The first thing we want to convince ourselves is that 7, the median does not occur at 7. We want to check that that is not, yeah, we want to check that that is not the median. That 16 there is not the median. Let's work it out. How many terms are below the median? If this was the median, there would be 2, 4, 6. So there's 6 below. How many above? 2, 4, 6, 7. So this thing here does not split the data set in 2. So that cannot be the median because it does not split the data set in 2. So let's go ticking. Let's tick this guy off with this guy, this guy, 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 with this guy. Oh, we're left with 2 in the middle. So what do? Add them together, divide by 2. Yeah, if I add 16 plus 16 together, I get 32 divided by 2. I get back to 16. Because the number that's halfway between 16 and 16 is obviously 16. Okay, and that looks a bit more like halfway there, yeah? Because we've split the data set into 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. Good. So that's how to calculate the mode, the mean, and the median of a frequency table. Yeah, very, very conceptual stuff, okay? So I want to do that once more before I say goodbye to you for today, and then I'll give you some exercises then, okay? So we'll look at one more example of finding mean, mode, median of a frequency table, and then we will we'll give you some exercises to do for the weekend. The next example, I won't put up this list, okay? So it will be just the frequency table. Right, so we're going to take a look now at page 221, question 1. And so this is a frequency table that you've been given, and you've been asked to find the mode and the median. But we'll also find the mean, okay? So we're going to find all 3 averages of this data set here. So probably the handiest thing to start with is the mode. So let's write down what the mode is. And the mode is the most frequent. So our mode is going to be, well, 12 is smaller than 16. I think 16 is the biggest, isn't it? So the mode in this case is going to be 2. So 2 occurs 16 times. Okay, so the mode is not 16, the mode is the number 2. What else do we need to know about mode there? Yeah, I think it's the one that occurs the most. So let's take a look now at the mean. Mean. And to calculate mean, well, I'm going to add all the top. I'm going to add them all together, and rather than writing out 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 12 times, I'm just going to write down 12 times 1 plus 16 times 2 plus 10 times 3 plus 8 times 4 plus 6 times 5 plus 8 times 6. So that's the top line, or that's adding them all together, and I have to divide it by how many there are. And I know there's going to be, well, there's 12 matches here, there's 16 matches there, there's 10 matches there, there's 8 matches, 6 matches, 8 matches. So it's 12 plus 16 plus 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. And that's how we calculate the mean. So the mean is, it's a calculator job. So it's a fraction and it's 12 multiplied by 1 plus 16 multiplied by 2 plus 10 multiplied by 3 plus 8 multiplied by 4 plus 6 multiplied by 5 plus 8 multiplied by 6. And downstairs we have 12 plus 16 plus 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. And that's equal to 3.06 recurring. Yeah, so that's the mean of this data set. Yeah, nothing too weird there. Just, I suppose, it's. Would you get that this is adding them up? Yeah, we're adding 12 ones onto 16 twos, onto 10 threes, onto 8 fours, onto 6 fives. So you need to be aware of that, okay? That's how we calculate mean. And then, now this is probably the most interesting one, I think, is they calculate the median. So I'm going to wipe out this stuff because I need access to this area in here. So I'll rub all this out and we'll have a look at getting the median of this data set. Okay. So we know that we have 12 plus 16 plus 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. We know we have this number of terms, and I think that's going to be 14, 22, 32, sorry, that's 14, 22, 22, 32, 42, 52, 58, sorry, so it's now 11:30, so I'm a bit tired. Okay, that's 20, 30, 46, 52, 60. So there's 60 there. I think that's right, is it? Yeah, so there's 60. There's 60 matches after being played. So to find where the median is at 60 plus 1 over 2. Yeah, because the first match will be called match number 1, and the last match will be called match number 60. And to find the middle match, well, it's going to be 60 plus 1 over 2, which is what we did here. So that's equal to 30.5. So we now know the median occurs at 30.5. So we want to know when we've completed 30.5 matches. Okay, so we can go over to our frequency table. Might do this in red, that would look well. So at this point here, I've done 0 matches. Okay, to get from there to there, I've encountered 0 matches. To get from here to here, well, that's 12 matches. To get from here to here, to get from here to here, get from here to here, well, it's going to be 12 plus 16, which is 28. Have I gone past 30.5 yet? No. Still only at 28. I'll probably do it this time though. To get from here all the way over to here, I'm going to have to go through, well, there's 28 to there, plus another 10, that's going to be 38. Have I gone past it? I have. So I know that we went from 28 to 38 in this column here. So therefore the median must be in there. We were at 28 games there, and we're now at 38 games there. So we definitely passed 30.5 games when we were in this column. So the median is in here somewhere. The median is 3. The median is equal to 3. So that's another example of finding mean, mode, median of a frequency table. And yeah, so I'll now put up some homework on the board for you guys to do over the weekend. Okay, so our homework for the weekend is going to be on page 222. And it's going to be question 4 and question 5. And there's a new word that you're going to encounter there on question 5, and that's the word modal. So what do you think the word modal means? If we take a look at our averages, do you think it's going to mean mean? I think so. Mode? Yeah, I think that's what it means, okay? So modal is just kind of a fancy way of saying mode. So homework for this weekend, page 222, question 4 and question 5. So I'll cover these again on Monday. And so have a go through yourselves over the weekend. Okay, so I'll see you on Monday, and stay safe, guys.